The humanity and the decency of so many people. There were countless people who didn't think twice and ran back into the scene and helped us. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful act of kindness to see, and it was extraordinary. It saved my life. It saved my children. Cooper would not be alive today if it were not for the act of these people who just risked everything to ensure that this little boy lived. Then at Highland Park Hospital, the extraordinary life-saving work that was done by that team. I just explain it as they fixed what could not be fixed in that little boy. It was nothing short of a miracle. They refused to give up on Cooper. They were not going to let that little boy die. And how do you say thank you for that? I mean, what words is a mother, is a family? What words do you possibly have for people that would not give up on your son? What do you say to someone who you don't even know, a perfect stranger who was willing to run back and forth from a blood bank to make sure that when that team needed to have what they needed to have, they had it? So every step of the way, the flight crew that made sure he made it to Comers, to make sure that not only if his life was saved, that his life continued to be saved. It's been extraordinary all along the way. Cooper's a miracle, but there's a whole lot of miracle workers behind that. Cooper has a twin brother, Luke, also at the parade that day. And although Luke wasn't physically injured the same way that Cooper was, I would argue that his injuries were in a lot of ways also really, really traumatic for him. No 8-year-old boy should ever have to experience being in a situation where they have to stay back with their mother and help their mother get help in a situation such as that. And I think for Luke, he has been so traumatized by feeling responsible to keep his mother alive in an active shooting from a sniper on a roof. He's traumatized by watching front and center what happened to his twin brother. It's horrible. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's horrible. I think that the lack of mental health in services that this isn't just unique to my boys. This has been just an eye-opener for what our country is experiencing for children. It's such an issue, right? It is at a crisis level that I've had a front row seat to in a way that I wish I hadn't. But we've been working through. Thankfully, our community has been providing all sorts of opportunities for children to receive support, and we've been working really hard to make sure Luke has access to that. I think this is going to be a journey, a long, long journey for all of us. I think that Luke is working. All of us are working to get whatever it means, whatever new normal means, and I have no idea right now what that means. When I think about what the future holds, I continue to be optimistic. I continue to believe that Cooper is a miracle. I continue to believe that Cooper is going to change the world. He's going to teach a whole lot of people that the lesson in this is not that one person did this horrible thing. The lesson in this is that thousands of people did great things, kind things, and continue to do kind things. We are so overwhelmed by kindness, and that is what the world needs to focus on. The world needs to focus on the kindness that still exists in the world today, and that's the bigger story. Cooper's story is still to be continued, and I encourage everyone to keep watching. He's going to change the world. I'm heartbroken. And I'm sad. But it is a losing question to ask why. There's no good answer. And that is not productive. And I think moms have some sort of DNA code that when it gets tough, and I mean real tough, like real tough, we find a gear we never knew we had. And we just do it. And I think that's what this is. It's not anything that I'm doing. And I want to be really clear about this, that it's not anything I'm doing. This is what moms do. And I used to think that I couldn't do it either, whatever it is, that thing you do when the worst thing possible has landed on your doorstep. But you can, and you would, because if it was your baby, you would do it too. Cooper's just my baby. Luke is just my baby. If it was yours, you would do it too. And you would cry, and you would be heartsick. And trust me, there are, in these 20 plus days, I couldn't tell you most days what the day of the week is. I couldn't tell you what time it is. A PICU unit is some sort of like time warp. I joke that I went from living and dying by my Outlook calendar to not knowing what the day of the week is, what time it is. It gives you perspective that I am grateful for, though. It instantly aligns your priorities in a flash. For that, I'm grateful. I am immensely grateful. I didn't want it this way. Nobody would want that this way. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But the ability to be sad and angry and resentful is not anything compared to how genuinely humbled I am by the outpouring of love and support that I don't know why I'm so deserving of, why my family is, but I certainly know that Cooper and Luke are. They're pretty awesome. But it's really important to me that moms know nothing about me that makes me super mom. I'm just a mom like they are, and all moms would do this. All moms do this. I look around this PICU unit, I look around this hospital, all moms do this. It's what we do. We're moms. This experience has been absolutely mind-blowing for me in terms of the lack of sufficient amounts of services for children and families when it comes to social, emotional, mental health services. Don't get me wrong. The people we've seen, the supports we have had, have been tremendous. There's just not enough of them. We're spread so thin. And just like in the school setting, the need is so great and the resources so thin. And in situations like this, where at some point the physical healing starts to become negated by the deep need for the emotional and mental health services. It's so intertwined, right? And it's just, I can just look at my own little family and say, there comes a point where some of them need tremendous physical healing and support and mental health services. Some of them need social, emotional, and mental health services. It's heartbreaking to see so much need and such little ability across the system to provide it, not because people don't want to. Everybody wants to help. There's just not enough help to go around.